Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Hmm. Those were the droids they were looking for. Oh, hey, didn't see you there. Hey guys, Evan B here, broadcasting from the Butt Locker. Um, Welcome, I guess, to my room. Here's something I haven't shown off to you guys. This is my collection of Star Wars Nerf. Um, I've got some that I've shown in the thrifting video series, but also there's some stuff here that you haven't seen, like my Ray Blaster. Here's the pistols that Fowler sent me, my Stormtrooper Blaster, some of the vintage stuff. Um, Tonight, I made a stop on the way home from work, and I got myself another Star Wars Nerf blaster. Um, Here is the Han Solo blaster. I initially, when I went out to buy, when these came out, this one and the Ray Blaster were released at the same time. I initially went with the Ray Blaster because I like the color scheme of it, and it matches the other ones that had come out so far, save the Chewbacca Bowcaster, which is just a terrible blaster, and I actually don't own one. I've got to play with one. I actually got to play with one on Force Friday, or the weekend of Force Friday. Target was doing a toy demo of a bunch of the stuff that came out, and like at the same time, I got to play with that. I got to play with the Kylo Ren Black Series Force Effects lightsaber, which I was super sweet, and I got to play with a bunch of toys that day when I was making some purchases. But the Bowcaster, just kind of a poop blaster. If you look at some reviews of it, it just is not highly thought of. But I watched some reviews of this one, and I kind of came around to the idea of getting it. And when I got paid Friday, I decided I was going to treat myself to a new blaster, because I so often buy thrifted blasters, or at the very least, I purchase discount blasters. I very rarely ever buy anything at MSRP. But because I am a Star Wars collector and also a Nerf collector, I feel like these kind of I talked myself into it, basically. I feel like the crossover there for me is worth it. So I decided to go ahead and nab up the Han Solo blaster. So that being said, like, I figured I would use it as an opportunity to do an unboxing and a review with you guys, because you know, I think it'd be fun, and you'll get to see what I see as I pop it open. So let's go ahead and do that. I have my trusty knife. Again, the first thing I notice about this, being that it's an open face box, it is really tied in here. So unless you had knife or scissors, there's really no way to get into this, I think, probably without breaking it. But let's see if we can do it without even scratching it. I think that's my other big thing, is it doesn't seem like there's, I mean, unless you completely fillet the package, these are hard to get out without damaging the blaster in any way. At the very least, scratching up. Well, I take that back. That was relatively simple. So there's the Han Solo blaster. The first thing I notice is it is large. I've mentioned before that I am a big dude, and this is a really large, comfortable blaster. My pinky does not hang off the end of it. This handle is very comfortable. Maybe a little more narrow, or a little smaller than the Ray Blaster. It looks like that's a little beefier, but certainly not uncomfortable. It's a nice size. It looks like we have an internal magazine here, so also similar to the Ray Blaster, or if you're more familiar, like the Mega Magnus has a clip that's just like this, although this is going to take the Elite darts that it comes with. This came with 4 blue Star Wars Elite darts. So, you know, obviously that's the difference between the Magnus. Let's give it a... Sounds sounds a little poofy with the air restrictor, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. This scope on the top is fixed. I don't know if I like that. Why would it have been so difficult to make it a an end strike attachment? Although I guess priming would have been a little awkward. Although you probably still don't want to prime it from this. Boy, that's kind of wobbly. I don't know if you can see that, but that handle is really twisty if you give it a side to side. So that's kind of interesting. I guess that's probably has to do with the fact that these Mauser-looking broom's handle pieces are separate from the blue shell. Maybe it's that's rocking back and forth. It is. It's that's rocking back and forth, not the core of the shell. So that's kind of interesting. That seems cheaply made. Which, you know, they're pumping out a lot of Star Wars merchandise with the new movie having just come out. So maybe that has something to do with it. Looks like there's an end strike rail at the bottom here. So all your attachments would go on the bottom. Maybe that would, I don't know, a handle would be kind of stupid, but I guess a tack light or something would fit under there real well. Let's go ahead and pull these darts out and we'll load her out. You know, obviously, I am a huge Star Wars fan. I think you've noticed, or many people have noticed, that in every single one of my videos I'm wearing a Star Wars t-shirt or hat, or most of the time I guess it's both. Save my one thrifting video that I was in the tub, which is hilarious in its own right, but even then I think my soap dispenser is a Stormtrooper. But you know, being that I am such a huge Star Wars fan, you would think that, like, as these Star Wars blasters have come out, I would rush and go grab them. But being that I am a Nerf collector and a pretty serious Nerf thrifter, the MSRP on the Nerf Star Wars stuff, the price tag is incredible. I think when the Stormtrooper blaster first came out, this was going for like $50 at Toys R Us, which for basically being a reshelled Raider or Rampage, I really don't think it's worth it. It looks really cool, and it's a fun blaster to use. There's some things about this blaster that I fundamentally really like. I love the priming on it. I like side mags, side-fed mags. I know that there's lots of Nerfers that don't, because they're not super tactical going around a door. But then again, I'm right-handed, so going around a door to my right, it would be fine. I guess going around a door to my left, I would probably be okay too, because it's my elbow that's going to be the issue. Or maybe I'm just playing differently indoors than the Koops of the world. But you know, in the sense that it's a pretty badass looking movie replica, save the orange, you know, tactical be damned. Like, I think it's just a cool blaster. It's a very Stormtrooper blastery. It feels like you're gonna miss every shot with it. So it's we had a pretty big Nerf war in December, and this is what I used as a primary. It was an unmodified this, and while I did have some jams during that game, as a whole, I was super impressed with this blaster, and I really like it aesthetically. I think it's just the coolest blaster to come out, and maybe I'm biased because I'm wearing Stormtrooper pajamas, but you know, as big a letdown as the sidearm is, the primary is just a great blaster. I really like it. But that being said, like, I think the price on this Star Wars stuff is, I mean, clearly because it's a Star Wars tie-in, and Star Wars collectors we are willing to pay the ridiculous prices sometimes that Lucasfilm and Disney now are asking us to. You know, $20 for this blaster. I think is a bit ridiculous, especially considering that the Magnus is not $20, and that's a Mega Blaster, and you get Mega Blaster performance out of that. But, you know, again, I treated myself to it on payday. Man, that firing that into my hand, like, that's got a little bit of punch. So far, so good. I dig it. I guess what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go take this out to one of the tech targets, and we'll do like a 25-foot accuracy test and see what everybody thinks about that. So here we are at the range, guys. I'm not even going to really mess with the tech targets because my household is asleep. But what I will do is I will take the 4 shots from this at the smaller target, just so we can get an idea of what firing at about 25 feet with this blaster, how accurate we're going to hit it. I'm going to try using the scope to see how that works out, but you know, we'll give it a shot. I know that Nerf scopes are not functional, but this close, I think maybe it won't be that bad. So let's give it a shot and see what how it goes. Shot number 1. All right, that I wasn't looking down the scope. Let's see. Scoped right at the 100. Huh. Not really that bad. That was right on. Wow. And so there you have it, guys. As far as this blaster goes, I have to say that I am a fan. I have a DL44 replica that a master prop builder and friend of mine, Pete Acosta, made for me. He's done some stuff for Lucasfilm as far as special event kind of things. And so he's also a member of the 501st and a master at arms in the 501st. He does and knows replica blasters very well. And he made me a resin cast mold based on the original parts of the same blaster that Han Solo used in A New Hope in the first Star Wars flick. And so, you know, my complaints with this blaster are mostly cosmetic. You know, you hear a lot of the other reviewers of this one in particular say that they think that this has a lot of cosplay potential. I personally do not. I think that this area here is way too big, and I get why it's has to house Nerf darts, and but so that aesthetically that takes away from a lot from the blaster for me. The fact that the scope is on the top does not break my heart too much. But I think that maybe the priming issue with the scope on top could have been, you know, with doing the fixed scope rather than the end strike attachment scope could have been solved by doing a tack rail on the side here and putting the scope on the side, and then still allowing you to be able to prime it from the top, and allowing us to have this this scope for other blasters, you know, to be interchangeable with other blasters. So, you know, those are my complaints. You know, you saw from the accuracy test that this is at least at close range is a fairly accurate blaster, and it's fun to use. You know, me being a Star Wars collector, of course I am going to endorse this. You know, I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and I am a Star Wars collector. Me being a Nerf collector, I am going to endorse this. I really like what the Star Wars Nerf crossover stuff is doing. My biggest complaints are the price, and the accuracy. But I get why they can't be screen accurate. So I'm not really complaining too hard. That's literally just the nitpicky Star Wars fan in me. Um, that being said, I definitely recommend, for anybody, to go pick this one up. It's fun to use. The internal clip thing is cool, and it looks cool. It's big. It's for an adult. It's definitely a comfortable blaster to use, and for a kid, I imagine this would be like a pretty sweet big gun. Um, I don't know if you agree with me or you disagree with me. Make a comment below. Um, I am, always open to hearing other people's opinions and ideas. I've watched lots of reviews on this blaster, so it seems like it's got some pretty mixed reviews. As like I said, I endorse, but I am the huge Star Wars fan, so it has a place for me on my windowsill of Nerf Star Wars blasters. Of course it does. Um, all right, guys. So I guess that's all I have on the Han Solo Blaster review. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. As always, guys, this is Evan B saying peace and hair grease, and keep nerfing. Have a great night, guys.